What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hump day. And how about it's opening day eve here? Because tomorrow the Orioles play the Twins in Baltimore at 3:05 p.m. Eastern time, and the season is underway. But actually, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. Some seasons begin tonight.
Yeah.
Out west.
Two of them we got on Netflix. We got the Yankees and the Giants. So, yeah, baseball, I guess, is back tonight. Exclusively on Netflix because, of course, it is. But, you know, I guess it's back. We're back.
We're back officially. And what we talked about, you're back, I'm back, my neck, my back. You guys can go look up the lyrics for the rest. But let's talk about the rundown of what we have on the show today. We have a former Oriole that has a little bit more time on his hands, and he's gracious enough to join us. Kyle Gibson. Gibby's going to join us here in the next few minutes, catch up, reminisce, and maybe talk about some insights that we should know maybe on some current Orioles, what projects he has in store, and just above all, he's just a great guy to talk to. And then we have had some news. Opening day rosters out, which we can discuss here, but also there's some injuries we need to discuss. Keegan Akin went on the IL. That's one thing. But there's been a term that's been thrown around here, Zach, quite a bit. Dead arm. Grayson Rodriguez on the IL with a dead arm. Trevor Rogers, who I talked to on the Masson broadcast a week ago, he said during camp he was fighting dead arm. What is dead arm? Well, Yoni is our guy to talk about it with, and he'll join us here as well. Then we'll have our poll talk. We have it each day now. Go over. We'll see what your answers are on today's poll. Then we got something new rocking. Paradise Breaks is going to be in the building here, and we're going to talk about the hobby of the card industry, from the moments that you share with your family to why it has become such a hot market here. That and a whole lot more. And then for our channel members, there's something else that's going to happen after the show, so stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, and away we go. Am I missing anything, Zach? We're good?
No, I think we're good.
We're good?
I think we're good.
All right. Should we, I kind of teased that the opening day roster is technically out. Should we show that? Do we have that to express to our audience? That whammy. Well, if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan, there's your opening day roster for the Birds. And there's no surprise in the starting rotation, especially with Dean Kramer being optioned down to AAA. Chris Bassett, Shane Baz, Bradish, Rogers, and who am I missing? Eflin.
Yeah.
Unique New York. Eflin. Now, some other names that made this roster. Yermil Geraldo. Anthony Nunez.
Yeah.
Making the roster.
Deadline acquisition.
How about that?
Thank you, Seti. Thank you, Seti.
Shout out Seti Mullins. Grant Wolfram, who had a great spring, lefty, can get it up there to 97, 98. He's going to come out of the pen. On the infield side, I don't think there's any surprise, but confirming that Jeremiah Jackson got that final spot.
Gosh, good for him. That got me fired up. Jeremiah Jackson, talk about a guy who earned it in September last season, comes out. I mean, he was not a prospect. That's the thing. Like you see so many top prospects, especially when you're going through the Baltimore Orioles system over the past few years, guys in the top 100, guys in the top 10 of the Orioles organization. This is a guy that wasn't on those lists, but he went out there in AAA last year, just hit the cover off the ball to the point where trades were made at the deadline. Now you need to fill out the roster. And we thought, hey, maybe Jeremiah Jackson's only up here for a game or two, see what they can get before they bring up the Beavers, the Basayos, all of them. And then the second he got here, he just kept hitting. He came and played a position in the outfield that he hadn't played, but he wanted to do it for the team, has proven to be a super utility type guy, continued to hit the ball in spring training. This is a well-deserved roster spot. Could not be more excited for him, and I'm sure he's ecstatic to get the nod to go out there on the orange carpet.
And he's earned it. He's deserved it, and he'll be joining the squad, running down that orange carpet that you just mentioned tomorrow. To round it out here for the outfielders, Leody Taveras is that fifth outfielder, which honestly, to me, that doesn't surprise me at all. Especially with, if you're looking at defensively, that's been something he has been considered as a strength for his game. But also you go back a couple of years ago, 2023, it's a big part or a key part, I guess I should say, to that Texas Rangers team down the stretch. But Taylor Ward, Colton Cowser, Beavers, Tyler O'Neill, they're obviously all going to factor in. Specifically, Taylor Ward is going to be what everyone expects an everyday guy, and Colton Cowser is going to get the first crack at the center field job. And then at catching, Sammy Basayo and Adley Rutschman, those are your two backstops. So really, Zach, yeah, there's the biggest shocking move, if I would say anything, was obviously Dean Kramer being optioned. Albert Suarez also being optioned down then, so he can't opt out. I thought Big Al made a case, but I'm not exactly sure if they knew what role he would be. Yeah. I think they're both going to be a part of this team moving forward, but this is who we have. And also Rico Garcia. You know what Rico loves, by the way?
What's that?
He loves cards.
Oh,
that's just from what I heard from around the grapevine, or specifically in a place that's like paradise. You know what I mean? Did I do good with that?
That was good. I will say I won't call it a shock because it's not a shock as of the past probably few weeks, but I would say a shocker if you would have told me this 2.5, 3 months ago. And I get injuries, changed everything, but I don't know if in February, in January, if you told me that Pete Alonso, Kobe Mayo, and Ryan Mountcastle all make the roster, it felt like some redundancy there. Obviously, Westbrook goes down, so Kobe Mayo goes from first base to third base. So that would be the only, if you would have shown me this December 25th, January 1st. Let's say you show me this January 1st. I think that's what would have jumped out to me of, oh, crap. Okay. So all three did make the team. Felt like maybe there could have been a move there, but injuries and everything. This is why we talked about it. It's why it's never a bad thing to have too many good players. Awesome to see all of them look like they're going to get the chance.
It certainly does. And you're right. There's a lot of at least how the starting rotation looked, how your roster was going to look when the season or the off season was just getting going. Yeah, it might have not been on your bingo card, some of these guys, but here they are. And you know what? It all works itself out at the end of the day, but it means baseball season's back. We mentioned yesterday some of the predictions overall. They say the AL East shocker is going to be tight. It's going to be competitive. Well, that's nothing new. That's what we've known my entire lifetime. Zach, your entire lifetime. Unique New York. I got the Ron Burgundy out. Unique New York lifetime. 2000 was the last year, by the way, a team didn't win 90 games in the AL East. Fun fact, tell a friend to tell a friend when it comes to that. But a lot of baseball and a lot of teams that have hope going into the season. The beauty of opening day is that every team and every fan base, even if there's some doubts, it's this one day of optimism, tradition, hope. And a lot of teams have hope, and there's one team that has hope here right in Baltimore to get back on track. So if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Then after the fact, we are putting this out on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. That's how we do it. And Gibby, if you're ready to rock and roll, you can give me a thumbs up behind the scenes. Just let me know. Boom. Well, Birdland's come to love this man over the time. And I know it was a short amount of time when we look at it, but the impact that he has had, not just with the Orioles, but off the field, which he is still involved with, and some Orioles are still involved with. Let's bring on former Baltimore Oriole and longtime big league pitcher, Kyle Gibson. Gibby, can you hear me?
Guys, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear. Well, hey, I appreciate you joining. And for this time right now, how's it feel as the season's going on? This is a new territory for you right now.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't involved in an opening day last year because I was, building up still. But it's kind of weird to not be in a uniform and not at least be watching some teammates or getting ready for an opening day start or something like that. So it's fun though. I was texting with you guys a little bit yesterday just about what I was going to be doing. I was running around on a tractor, doing a little bit of yard work, doing some stuff that I really enjoy doing, and just haven't had a chance to do it because normally I'm off in a city and my father-in-law or somebody else, and my wife is having to do it for me. So, it's been fun, following our 4 kids and going to their sporting events and doing a lot of things that I knew I was going to look forward to doing. It's really been probably a good distraction from missing baseball. I don't think I'm ever going to not want to go out and get 3 outs and prove that I can do that again. But, I think being around these guys has been a really good distraction from some of that missing the locker room stuff. But still keeping up on all my friends. A lot of people ask me who I'm rooting for, and I said I'm rooting for my friends. So, excited to watch the Orioles and see what they can do. And, looking at the roster that you just had up, man, it's a good young core still, and they've added some pitching, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It should be, and we'll get into all that in a second. I gotta ask then about some tractor work, because I feel like there's another player. So we talked to Bradley Bozeman, former Raven, Charger. He just got right off the tractor, or he's out in the fields, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing some farming." So I don't know if that's just a trend, but what is tractor work, Gibby? Like, talk to me. Like, what type of work are we doing now?
So, and we've had quite a few storms here, within the last couple of months, just windy days, and the hardwood trees, the oaks, don't like those winds. So, we had a couple of them that are dead that we had to cut down, and I just kind of stacked the wood to the side and put off that part of the job. So this morning, took the kids to school and had the bucket on the tractor and was loading up the logs and, putting them up by, we're in the process of building a house right now, putting them up by that house because we're going to have a couple fireplaces. And instead of stacking them up and letting them decay on the side of the field, going to start a firewood pile and make sure that when we're ready to burn a fire, we can go, split some and put them in the fire. So with grass growing, that's the other thing. Grass does not grow well underneath logs. So I had to get them out of the way so the grass can get going and have a fresh start to the spring. So that was this morning. This afternoon, up at the house, might have to move some wood planks and do some other stuff. But the tractor, you just find things to do, right? That's the beauty of it. You piddle around a little bit, and I always kind of gave my father-in-law some trouble because when he gets in a skid steer, he'll be out there for hours, right? Like, you get moving something around, and you just find things to do. It's pretty fun.
It sounds like you're between family time and tractor time. I think you're going to find some hobbies to pick up or find ways to pass some time. I think you're going to stay pretty busy. There's so many ways we want to get into down the road. I want to talk also about, you talked about some friends and big league impact. That's something you were very, that's near and dear to you and the guys that are on the team. I wanted to ask you something real quickly as we talk about friends. And, those are guys that I've known very, for a long period of time. And like one of those guys is Dean Kramer. Dino and I are very close. And one of the things that just happened, the Orioles, the pitching staff, stayed fully healthy, and they had to make a business decision. So Dean's going to start in the minors this year after he's been the most reliable guy on this Orioles rotation staff over the last few years from an inning standpoint, a durability, and even a win. From a player standpoint, Gibby, what's something you could give insight to mindset, especially for a guy like Dean, that this had nothing to do with performance? It just had to do with being the odd man out. Could you just speak on what's the hardest thing to try to understand that you can get right back, and when you do get back, you're going to be required to hit the ground running right again?
Yeah, that's, I hadn't seen that move got made, honestly. So, man, it's so tough because when you've established yourself, and like you said, there's certain situations like this where it's totally out of your control. You go out and you throw the ball well, and you're unfortunately the guy with options left, and you're unfortunately the only one that can be moved. And everybody knows that there's going to be injuries. And the unfortunate part that Dean is in is you almost find yourself not hoping for an injury, but waiting for somebody to get hurt or waiting for somebody to struggle. And that's kind of where I found myself last spring training when I'm looking for a team, is I'm like waiting for somebody to get hurt. And that's not anywhere you want to be. But in the minor leagues, when you're down there, he's got a pretty difficult decision to make, and it becomes easy when you're in the right mindset. And I say it's difficult because the human side of this, you're going to feel pretty frustrated. you're going to be pretty disappointed where you're at. The baseball side of this is there's 4 other starters in AAA that want to be called up. And if you're not throwing the ball the best, that business decision then becomes somebody else gets called up, and it's not you. I was sent down a couple times in 2017, 3-4 years into my career. I was in my first year of arbitration, and I got sent down the first time because I threw terrible. I was basically asking to be sent down. I had a 9 ERA through 10 starts, but the next time was at the trade deadline, and I was throwing the ball very well. And we were making a playoff push, and they were at the point where they were either going to trade a guy or trade for a guy. And basically, Paul Molitor came to me and said, hey, if Bartolo Colon throws well today, we're keeping him around and we're going to use him for the playoff push. If he struggles or has an injury, then, we're going to have to make a move and you're going to stay. But if he throws well, you're getting sent down. I'm like, man, we just traded for Jaime Garcia. I'm throwing the ball as good as anybody in the rotation right now. But that was kind of the business decision. Bartolo went out and threw the ball well that night, and I was sent down the next day. And nothing to do with how I was throwing. But once again, I had to go down there and make the decision that I was going to throw the ball well. And Dean is going to get down there, and he's going to be thrown into a position where guys are going to ask him questions about the big leagues. Guys are going to be asking him questions about how he does this and how he does that. And with the right mindset, he can have a huge impact on that pitching staff. And I think knowing Dean, I hope that that's how he approaches that, because he's going to be in a really unique opportunity to help a lot of people out down there and still keep himself ready to be, ready for that call back up to the big leagues.
You were the perfect guy I wanted to ask that question to, because it's that insight behind both from the business and the personal. You dealt with it, but you also can explain the ins and outs. And I still remember, I guess it was back in 2023 when Tyler Wells got sent down and, being transitioned, Wells was saying other people were looking to him. Also, by the way, he said one of the most important things was, I believe you reached out to him and talked to him, and having that support system and belief that, hey, there are other people here that still have faith in you. And I think that is the truth. It might not feel that way at times, but you just have to be ready. And sometimes business is truly business, and you just got to find a way to keep yourself in that position, the best case you can be. There's a lot of great guys in this organization, as you know, Gibby, and I'm excited for it. And correct me if I'm wrong, with Big League Impact, there's 3 of those guys that are still here for this upcoming year.
Yeah. There was a lot of guys who have done, whether it's an all-win campaign or the Mission 318 initiative, which is, widespread and fast, trending upward around the league, where there's, 30 different, every city has a service opportunity for the visiting and the home team to go visit and serve on the road. And Jordan Westberg was, one of those guys that went a lot last year. Zach Eflin is somebody who I have a really good relationship with my time back in Philly and, last year. So he's going to be heavily involved. And then Ryan Helsley, with all of his time in St. Louis, has very strong connections with Big League Impact as well. So he's going to add to that there in Baltimore. Guys like Tyler Wells and other players as well were heavily involved with, different events we did in 2023. But it's a cool Big League Impact dynamic there in Baltimore. With those guys all being on the same team. And we had started a player advisory board this year to really kind of get some insight into the locker room and get some insight on how we can do things better with Big League Impact. And, those are 3 guys that we've leaned on a lot with some of the changes that we've done. So, I'm excited for what's to come there in Baltimore with the community service and Big League Impact as well.
And I'm excited to see it as well, So when those opportunities come about, I'll have to send Westy a message. But, I would love to see what that is, and maybe you can let me know as well so I can get involved. I think it's a great organization and group that you guys have created. It's also a great way to showcase not just the great deeds. There's a lot of great people, around here that want to make a difference. And I got a chance to talk to Ryan Helsley, which I'll ask you about in a second. I haven't had a chance to get to know Zach Eflin as well yet, but everyone I've talked to has talked about how great he is. And Gibby, Eflin, from everything I've heard, he's saying he's the best he's felt in years, plural, like dealing with everything he has. And there was even I'm doing some color commentary now with Masson, and we were going over some of the arm angles for Eflin over the last 3 years and how things had changed so drastically. And he talked about in spring training just how much pain he had felt. You know, as someone like you, where you had to manipulate and set guys up, I'd say Zach Eflin's pretty similar in that area. Sinker, throw a cutter, make a hitter think, always around the plate. How big of an impact can Zach Eflin be that now that he feels that he can actually get back to what he felt like a couple of years ago?
Can I take a stab in the dark here? And
yes.
You talk about arm angle. Has his arm angle dropped in the last 3 years?
Yes.
All right. So knowing that he's had a little bit of back trouble and he had that worked on, I've had plenty of back trouble, unfortunately. And what tends to happen, and I'll get a little bit technical here just from my experience, what tends to happen is as you're tall and you have a higher arm angle, which I had, you want to be able to shift your shoulders this way to get there. And then you're putting your lower back in a multi-angle rotational state, right? If your hips and lower back cannot take that, you can't do that. So then what happens is everything levels out because that's where we want to be, right? We don't feel pain when our back is straight up and down and we're in that state. We can rotate around and do that better, okay? So as we do that, what happens to the shoulder and the arm angle? It comes back to level, right? So just to stab in the dark, all right, I'm glad that he feels great because one thing that I struggled with in 2016 before I changed my arm angle and shifted how I delivered the ball was any pain anywhere, your body protects itself and shifts it without you even trying, right? So if Zach has slowly gone down in arm angle, it has had side effects on different pitches that maybe he was able to pitch through at certain times, and because he's crafty and smart and a real pitcher, but nobody wants to pitch that way, all right? That's not fun. I have had dozens of starts where I never sat down in the middle of the start because my back hurt so bad that when I sat down, it tightened up and got worse. So I never sat down. That is no way to pitch, all right? And Zach was actually the guy who was injured in 2021, I believe, when I got traded to Philly. And it was kind of his spot that I was kind of coming in because he was missing some more time, if I remember right. And then he had the same or somewhat similar issue in 2022 when he moved to the bullpen at the end of the year. So it's really exciting to hear that he feels good because as a pitcher and as a position player, but I can only speak from a pitching standpoint, when you feel good and you think you can get back to what you know makes you best, that is an incredible feeling. Velocity tends to tick up because you feel more aggressive through your delivery. Arm angle goes back to where you want it to do. Pitch shape goes back to know how you want it to be. Now, all of a sudden, a slider and a curveball don't morph together. They become two different pitches again. And honestly, I don't like to look back and say that I like to do things over again because I try to not live with regrets. But if last year could go a little different, I probably would have held off on coming back and coming into the Baltimore rotation and being, taking an extra start, because during my last minor league start, I did have some back stuff creep in. Then I felt better going into that start against the Yankees, and I was good to go, right? But who knows if that week of time where I didn't feel good adjusted a few things, and now I'm fighting just a little bit of something, right? The results were what they were, and it didn't work out for me. But if I could go back again, knowing that I'm trying to throw 27 more starts, I probably would have slowed myself down and been like, listen, why am I rushing back here? The competitive side of me wanted to be on the mound, right? But now if Zach is feeling good, man, I love that for him, because you just feel like you can go out and be the guy you can be. And it's a really good feeling when you get to that spot.
It is. And for people that want to understand of why and how good he was, and with the arm angles here, just as a context, and I don't like to always get into to those finer points, but I think it does illustrate a story. And I love the technical stuff, by the way, Gibby. I had a father that sat me down. People might know the story. I was 10 years old, and I wanted to eat ice cream, and he wanted to talk about cutoffs and relays of the Rays and Red Sox in the 7th inning. Wasn't on my mind then, but I am so happy he did because I got to see it from that angle. So I appreciate you explaining it. And I think it gives our audience the insights of how technical things get. And when you're a little bit off or you try to overcompensate, it can mess up your entire game plan. And for Zach Eflin, we want to go back to 2023. 3.50 ERA, 31 games started. His arm angle was 33 degrees. 2024, arm dropped down to 27 degrees. And last year, dropped down to 24. So we might not think that it's a ton, but for a pitcher and how he throws, it's a massive difference. And it sounds like for both of you and Eflin, both of you are gamers. You want to be out there, for better or for worse, right? That's kind of what I'm getting from you. And, I'm happy to hear, your diagnosis of all this and everything I've seen. I think Zach Eflin could be one of the biggest values of this offseason for any team. There's one other player that you mentioned in this list of guys, and that's Helsley, by the way. He throws fuzz. And, absolute heat. And I know I'm not looking as much into the Mets situation. It could have been tipping pitches taken out of a role.
Right.
You obviously having more connections with St. Louis and maybe monitoring him a little bit more. What's something that people should know about Ryan Helsley as he's approaching his first year as a closer in Baltimore?
Oh, man. I think Helsley is obviously he's a special talent. He is somebody who works incredibly hard. He is somebody who really takes care of himself and prides himself on being available as much as possible. He has dealt with ups and downs. He's dealt with struggle, just like his time in New York last year. He's dealt with the good and the bad. And he is just as consistent as it comes when he shows up to the park. And like veteran leadership, like culture, people on the outside might say, well, he's a professional. Of course he should show up, the same way every day. But I would challenge people in their daily life and ask, okay, so when you show up to work, are you the same every day? Do you let your family life creep into how you treat people at work? Do you let how much you slept creep into how you treat people at work? Of course you do. Everybody does because it's human nature. But when you have to be a close-knit team and you have to be able to rely on each other and trust each other, it's really important to show up and be the same guy especially when you're the one getting the last 3 outs, right? Sometimes the hardest 3 outs to get. So Baltimore's going to love him. He's just an awesome person. And if you are trying to replace and stopgap for Felix Bautista, there's not many guys that can do that like Ryan Helsley is going to do it. That's how I look at it. So it's going to be a signing that I think takes a hole in that bullpen, and not that you're not going to see it, right? Okay, but Felix is incredibly hard to replace, right? He's a unicorn with how he goes about it. But you've got a guy that can really do a really good job in being that stopgap. And when Felix is back, whenever that is, holy smokes, you've got maybe the best back end bullpen in the entire league.
And I'm hoping for Felix, knock on wood, nothing was more demoralizing not for me, but as a teammate of Felix talking about friends in the industry, Gavin Sheets was on the AAA team, the Charlotte Knights. Felix was up there. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm going, like, poor Gav, man. I don't know if you got a shot right here because here's Felix with this heater going this way, and here comes that splitter. And you could know what's coming. He could pinpoint it to you if you wanted. And more times than not, you ain't getting the best of Felix Bautista. So,
yep.
And Ryan Helsley, I still think that with all the signings this offseason, there's a lot of great closer options. He could end up having the best year, Gibby, out of all of them, because I think that's how close some of these guys are. And you would know this. If you get on a roll, you could just carry that momentum to have a heck of a season, but Helsley's already been an all-star. Yeah. So I think that's what I think that people will forget a little bit is just how good he had been prior to the trade. And hey, Gibby, how hard is it to play on a team when it seems like you're losing every other day, which the Mets were in free fall down the stretch? Like, could you speak on how hard it is when things are going wrong on a team?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Been there a couple times.
Okay.
And shoot, and on top of it, he's traded there to not be a closer, right? Like, not that he is a true pro, so that's not the reason he struggled, right? He was still able to go through his routine. He probably went down to the bullpen in the 6th instead of the 7th, like not a big deal. He knew it was high leverage. It still changes things, and then when you don't throw the ball well, now you're in the 6th inning. Now you're in the 7th, 6th inning and not really a high leverage most of the time. So, and you're thrown into New York, just a little different than St. Louis, right? Only a little bit. So, shoot, it's he's gonna be really good, and he's a guy that can really solidify that bullpen personality wise and culture wise, and he's done it on the biggest stage.
I'm excited to see it. Well, Gibby, I think Zach has one question for you, then we'll wrap up here. Yeah. But Zach, you got a question for Gibby?
Yeah, Kyle, you kind of alluded to the young team that the Orioles still have in the core. Obviously, in 2023, when you were here, you were seen as that leader and the veteran in the clubhouse. This season, off season, they add Chris Bassett, they add Pete Alonso, guys who have been in the big moments, had success in the big moments. How important is it for especially a younger team like the Orioles still are for guys who have been there that can help these younger guys and be those leaders in the clubhouse? How important is that to the ball club?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important, right? And you go and you find these guys that fit your culture, which is, I think, even more important. Whenever you're signing somebody like Alonso or Bassett, or Helsley, you're making phone calls and you're sending text messages to as many people as you can to figure out what kind of person they are, and knowing that they are going to fit your team's culture well, right? And I think they did that with these 3 guys. Bassett, you got to have. I think Kyle Bradshaw is going to have a great year, right? But it's going to be his first full season in a few seasons. That's a big deal. Bassett is a guy that you're putting out there for 33 starts, 32 starts, and you know what you're going to get. Baz last year, I think Baz is nasty, right? Had his ups and downs. Could have been sent down to the minor leagues at some point because of his struggles, wasn't. And, now with the Orioles, I think, they're hoping that they can find something that brings that consistency back. So I think Bassett's a guy that just solidifies that rotation and brings that pedigree of, hey, this is what we had in each of the spots that I've been when we've made runs. What can I bring to this organization that brings that experience of, what that October push feels like? Not that people haven't had it, right? We had it a few times in Baltimore. But the World Series pedigree is different. Yeah. And Alonso, I've only heard great things about him. Apparently he does have a little bit of respect for me, which I appreciate that. Even nicknamed me the Nibbler. So I will take that as a very much of a compliment. Polar Bear, I look forward to hopefully meeting you in person at some point. And the Nibbler and the Polar Bear can have a nice conversation. But I just think anytime you add a player of that magnitude, it really injects a lot of life into the locker room. And then you see immediately how he is around the teammates, bringing what he can to the table. So I think you look back at 2023, and Adam Frazier and James McCann were huge for that group of position players, because no doubt we were going to go through a time of struggle, or we were going to face expectations, and were we going to live up to those expectations or exceed them? And having those players around the young guys just gives a little bit of stability when rough times hit. Gives a little bit of stability when everybody feels really good, right? And everybody can say, hey, I know this was a good series. We swept this team. We have another team coming in tomorrow. How are we going to win tomorrow? And just trying to avoid the roller coaster. And that's what good teams do to have a successful 162 games. So I think those 3 guys are going to be huge for that locker room and for that team.
Nibbler's a good one.
Yeah,
it was a good one.
So
I agree. It was a good one. I deserve it as well. That's the thing. I wasn't upset because I absolutely nibbled the corners when facing Pete Alonso. I am not the guy to just throw it down the middle and say, here it is. So I'm sure if I look back, there are probably a couple looking strikeouts that were balls, multiple pitches that were on the edges that I got the benefit of the doubt on. And he probably went back to the dugout a few times saying he didn't even give me a pitch to hit. So I don't take offense to that at all.
So, do you know what Pete was for his career against you?
Yes. I have a few friends who love to keep up with like how certain guys did against me. I very much knew that he was 0 for his career, and that was one that my friends would say, "Hey, did you know that Pete Alonso's 0 for?" I was like, "Well, now I do, yeah." And then whenever I faced him, and if he didn't get a hit, I still kind of knew that. So I did know that, yes.
So yeah, he's 0 for 17 in 20 plate appearances. You've punched him out 6 times.
Yeah.
So Pete, it's the nibbler. He got you. It's all part of it, and but it's cool. Gibby, it's all in good fun, and you got such a great respect around the league. Whether I know it, you'll never have that feeling of wanting to put on a jersey or going out there to make a big out and make something happen. I know that never goes away for an athlete, but it seems like you got a lot of great things that are going ahead in your life, and being a dad, being a tractor driver, and moving lumber left and right, and then all the things that are going on with Big League Impact. But where can people keep tabs with you specifically, with Big League Impact, and anything else you got going on?
Yeah, bigleagueimpact.org is the website for the charity. We're going to see a lot of Mission 318 posts this year and following guys around the league who are serving in different communities. A lot of my social media posts are probably going to be about my kids and their UTV racing. So following me, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because I'm going to be following them. So but anything with Big League Impact, follow them on both social medias and bigleagueimpact.org. But anytime people want to get involved and make a donation, those donations are going to go to a lot of different cities around the country and around the world, and doing the hope or doing the good work that we do to instill hope in people around the world. So we appreciate it.
Gibby, you're amazing. I appreciate you. And then maybe from time to time, I can bother you to come talk about specific pitching techniques. And I want you to break it down because I need that. All right?
Yep, I'm in always. So I appreciate it.
All right, Gibby, appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day.
Right,
and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. See ya.
Kyle Gibson, everybody. I knew he was the right guy to talk about pitching with Gibby. And also when you hear him talk about not just the game, the business of it, the expectation, but also there's a couple reasons why you stay around for so long. One, you got to be able to pitch first and foremost. They don't give you any, hey, if you're a good player, hey, you're a good guy, but you're not getting the results. No. You got to be a good pitcher. But on top of it, Gibby is so respected around the game, in the locker room. Everyone from that 2023 team specifically talks about how impactful Gibby was, and he's still making that impact off the field. But I thought that was fascinating talking about the back, Zach.
Yeah.
And we found out a nice little thing about the nibbler specifically. That was a good little
That was
nugget.
fantastic. That was awesome. Also, just Kyle Gibson, talk about just the perfect guy to talk about. Obviously he didn't even know about the Dean Kramer thing until we brought it up, and then in stride had incredible advice and just how to deal with the situation and all that. Kyle Gibson, awesome. One, you understand why everyone we've talked to that was on the 2023 team was like, oh, Kyle Gibson, ultimate just leader in that clubhouse. And then I love that he talked about it too with James McCann, Adam Frazier. He's like, that was vital for the position players. We talk about it every once in a while, but it's good to hear it from guys who were there as well.
Yeah, it's always great hearing the guys walk the walk. Also, now in my mind, is there a way we can make a graphic of, there's the Riddler, but now the nibbler?
The nibbler.
What would that look like?
I don't know, but we'll have to figure something out.
We got to work on a graphic for that. But That's phenomenal. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe. Bud and Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live on YouTube, X, and Facebook Monday through Friday. And you can listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts after the show. But it's more fun watching the live show because we do have guests that come on, and I think they will give you the insights that you would like to hear. And so Kyle Gibson saying, oh, sorry if I get a little technical. No,
do it.
Please do it. Have you ever seen Starsky and Hutch, Bacardi
Do
Cola? Do it. No, not Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, I was thinking that.
Not make your dreams come true. It's Starsky and Hutch, Bacardi Cola. Do it.
No, I've not. I just assumed you were talking Shia LaBeouf.
Do it. No, that's do it.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were going with. I thought that's what we were rolling, but yeah, I understand.
I'm gonna send you the Ben Stiller do it gif later. Significantly different in appearance and approach, but I digress in there. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are going to have Dr. Yoni here to join us and talk about some injuries. So if you're just joining the show, we just had Kyle Gibson on. Gibby, one of the most loved Orioles here during a short amount of time. And he talked about breaking down the pitching side, talked about the dynamics. I thought the insight with Dean was really great too on the business. And it's hard. It is hard to necessarily compartmentalize, but Gibby going through it himself is a great example. And also an example of this. Dean's going to be counted upon. They're going to need him, but making sure Dean stays ready.
And not only counted upon in the majors, like Kyle said, he's like, Dean's going to have the opportunity not only to do what's right for his career, but if it all plays out well, and I mean, we Dean, better than almost anyone, he's the guy where I don't see any reason why he won't be an incredible sounding board to help these younger pitchers out while he's down there. I think that's going to be beneficial for everyone that's able to pick his brain down in AAA. And then I do believe he's going to do his thing. And then around May or something, he's going to come back up to the majors and he's going to do his thing. And I don't think he'll look back after that.
And for Dino, he is a selfless guy. He really is. He wants to help you. I know sometimes I've told him that he has a little bit of that like resting bitch face where it's just like you seem like you hate everybody.
He does.
And he does. But he's not actually like that. But I understand why people think that, And maybe he has that way because of, giving up a dinger in the first inning, or it's just the month of April. But Dean, and all jokes aside, is one of my favorite teammates. And not because of obviously what the talent I believe in him, but how he handles himself and how he treats people in the moment and outside. He's a phenomenal guy. And I do expect Dean to be ready for whatever opportunity comes his way when he is called upon. So we had Gibby there. I'm seeing where Dr. Yoni is, but if you are recently wondering about these injuries, Yoni's our go-to guy. We want to talk about the ins and outs. He came on earlier to talk about Jordan Westberg's situation, Jackson Holliday's timeline, which Jackson seems to be trending in the right direction to make a quick return to the Baltimore Orioles active roster. But then we also talked about football because it was right when the whole Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson situation, which, by the way, we're not talking about that trade anymore. It's been done. It's over. That. We're done.
Until the hit piece comes out again next week.
Until the Ravens trade for him again next week. Wouldn't that be something? But there are some topics that we do want to talk about. And I think Yoni specifically has some stats on even from injuries in general, going from spring training into the season and all that good stuff. So one of the things, though, we will be talking about Keegan Akin on the IL for 15 days. That one hurts a little bit here, Zach. And that's why there was another pitcher that was added to the bullpen for Baltimore. Adductor strain, at least out 15 days. We'll ask Yoni what that time frame is. The term dead arm has been thrown around a lot. And as someone, if you grew up as a kid, I've had a dead arm. Do I know exactly what it means to explain to you? Not really. I just go like, my arm doesn't feel good. Trevor Rogers, though, when I had him on the broadcast with Masson a few days ago, talked about in camp he had a dead arm. But that also, he's fine for opening day. Grayson Rodriguez, on the other hand, dead arm. He's missing time. So maybe we can figure all that out and then some. So appreciate that. You're new to the channel.
Yeah, I was going to say, real fast, got to give Yoni credit. 2 weeks ago when he came on, said, don't be surprised. Maybe Jackson Holiday uses an axe handle for the end of the bat. Just reported about an hour ago that Corbin Carroll actually threw Heston Kjerstad while they were playing Fortnite, told Heston to tell Jackson to use the axe handle. So now Jackson's using the axe handle bat.
Look at that.
Maybe Yoni knows what he's talking about.
Maybe he does. Do you? Yoni, do you know something? Maybe. Are you ready to join us now? Maybe. Thumbs up when you're ready, Yoni. Okay. Our audience, he's Dr. Yoni to us. True Sports is where you can find him, but I mean it. He's our go-to guy. We'll give him credit. Let's bring on Yoni to the screen. Yoni, hey, you were right about the axe handle. Congratulations. Like you saw that coming.
Every once in a while, man, a dead clock is right twice a day.
Blind squirrel finds a nut, whatever the phrase is. But it seems like that happens more times than not. And that's when for better or for worse, Yoni, that's why I love talking to you. And for those that are just tuning in for the first time, explain a little bit about your background. And so they understand why I like to go to you with all my information and news, because we do have some injuries to talk about.
Dude, the biggest highlight of my background is no one knows dead arm better than me. I lived in the mid 70s for like my entire career. This arm is dead, so I totally get it. So that's why you bring me on, I think.
I think that was the only reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I love rehabbing baseball injuries. I love shoulders. I love elbows. So I love talking about sports injuries, not so much Orioles injuries, but sports injuries. I think that's why you have me on.
Mm-hmm.
We have the world's best sports physical therapy offering. And luckily, it's right here in Maryland. We got 11 shops in Maryland. Like I said last time, we're opening 2 more in Virginia. We got another one in Delaware coming up, which is going to be a baseball-specific location. We already have a location up in Delaware. And we have 3 outstanding clinics in PA. So we're all over the place. If you want to talk injuries, or you have an injury you need to get treated, or you just want to move and feel better, look up True Sports PT online.
Just like that. And you do. And you work with a lot of high-profile athletes all the way down to the aspiring next grade athlete, or anyone that just wants to take care of their health in their everyday life. You've seen it all. You understand it. So for our sports lovers out there, though, you help bring the insight that they are looking for. So let's talk about the dead arm first.
Sure.
Okay. Dead arm connoisseur. It's a phrase I feel like Yoni is thrown out there so much, but in this case, it's been thrown out recently by 2 separate pitchers. Trevor Rogers, when I was doing the game on Masson last week, he was saying during camp he was feeling a dead arm sequence, and he had to kind of reset himself and ramp back up. He's starting opening day. Then on the other side of it, Grayson Rodriguez has been reported to have some dead arm complications. He's starting the season on the IL. So what the hell is dead arm, Yoni? Let's just start there.
Yeah, dead arm is a garbage term. Just means like your arm is kind of dragging, feels weak. There are myriad of reasons as to why that could be happening, but really it's your body telling you, we're not ready to handle the load that you're asking for from us. And so there's a whole bunch of fatigue that sets into the arm. You'll hear guys describe like, I can't even lift my arm up, or I'm missing a few miles per hour on my velocity. The arm just feels exhausted. Very often it comes from a rotator cuff that is overloaded. What's interesting about that is the muscles that control the arm, they pass along the shoulder. So if the cuff is inflamed, if it's too tight, it'll push down on those nerves. That could be one reason that you're feeling this like exhausted feeling. It's important that the audience understands when you think about nerves, you want to think about almost like that they are the power cords to our muscles. So if the power is running freely and smoothly, you have full access to all of your strength, all of your power in those muscles. If it's frayed, if it's compressed, if it's knotted, that'll like decrease the power going to the muscle. You'll have less output, therefore less strength, maybe less velocity. So that's one possible explanation. Another explanation is, nerves don't just come across the shoulder, but they come out of the neck. Sometimes pitchers will wake up with a stiff neck, maybe like a kink in their neck. That also will compress some of the nerves that are coming down all the way down your arm, decrease the power, give you the dead arm. Here's what's really interesting, and here's what I love about baseball injuries. In order for a guy like Grayson to live at 96, 97 miles an hour, that entire kinetic chain has to be working perfectly. Grayson has a long history of little pieces of that chain kind of going awry. No longer can the chain work symbiotically to produce that type of force. And so when you talk about lat injuries, he had 2 major lat injuries. That's a primary shoulder extensor. As you're ripping through the zone, your velocity is going to come down. He had elbow chips show up. I think end of last year, right? Had him removed, had his elbow scoped. So there are already a lot of issues that are transpiring along the entire chain. It's a good reason that you would be overworking your arm, not able to use your entire body or your entire kinetic chain. All of a sudden, the arm's going to feel dead. I can't say I'm surprised. By the way, it kind of makes Elias look like a genius, doesn't it?
Well, curious on how it goes, but this is why, when they had the information that they have, that long-term concerns. We're not talking about the Max Crosby deal, but when it comes to looking at long-term deals, this is also one of the reasons why the Ravens thought for the future there could be issues.
Yeah.
Right. So
now, Rip, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like there are guys, flamethrowers, that have dealt with myriad of injuries as they've gone through their career, and they eventually figured out. Like DeGrom is a great example, right? Like he came up, set the world on fire. Then all of a sudden he's got all these bizarre injuries, ends up with a Tommy John, but also a fractured scapula, shoulder blade. He eventually figures it out. It's just a matter of whether you have the patience to let him figure it out and whether he does eventually figure it out. So it's not the end of the road for Grayson, but I think these injuries do mount, and you'll see these things pop up like the dead arm scenario.
It is. Well, I'm glad that you were able to, for those that wanted the final paraphrasing, dead arm, not a good term. It just means your arm is being overused. It can't handle it, but there's a lot of different reasons for why. There's a lot of different reasons why guys get hurt, Yoni. I think you were having a stat about spring training injuries and all of that. Can you elaborate a little bit on our little text chain that we had the last couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, this is when people get injured. These are the highest injury rates as the season ramps up. So when you go from spring training into opening day, that is the highest volume of injuries that you're going to see. And so you would think originally that, it's later in the season after all of this load. But as guys start to ramp up, it's been a couple months since they've given max effort off of a mound. They get onto a mound, maybe they're fighting for a spot, or maybe they just get the competitive juices rolling, and all of a sudden they're throwing much harder than they have for a couple months. Body's not necessarily ready to handle it. That's why you will see injuries spike. It's also our obsession with velocity. I mean, you looked at the World Baseball Classic, there's not a dude throwing less than 95, and some of those guys aren't even on rosters, right? So everyone is throwing 95. The elbow is not really equipped to do it, and we see not just an escalation in overall injuries. The stat I gave you was in 2017, 61 players between spring training and opening day landed on the IL. In 2025, 112 players landed, right? So it almost doubled in the span of 2017 to 2025. There's something wrong with the system. We are asking these guys either to throw too hard or they're just doing it. Their off-season training is not commensurate to what they have to do come spring training. And that's why you see these arms blow up, bodies fall apart this early in the season, even before we get to opening day versus later on down the road.
Almost double.
Yeah.
In the last 9 years. Double.
Yeah, and they're trying to fix it. They obviously they being like the entire baseball system. Here's what they're up against. They're up against like Grayson, he gets to the bigs at, I don't know, 25. It's a guess, somewhere around there, right? That means for the last 15 years, he has been throwing as hard as he can with a radar gun in his face every time he takes the mound. It didn't used to be like that. Like we always harken back to the days like, how did Palmer and Gibson, they threw hard and they threw complete games. Why were they able to do that? Well, they weren't throwing bullets at age 10 to 15 with a radar gun saying, hey, you're out unless you're throwing 92 to 93. And eventually this wear and tear breaks down. We need our training regimens and our sequences to begin to mirror that. That unfortunately doesn't usually happen until you get to the higher levels of ball. And I think maybe that's a potential fix, but that's the problem with the system.
Preach, Yoni, preach. It's in some cases as well, too. I mean, we know velocity can be king. We're not going to deny that. You throw 100, it's 100. It's hard to hit. You know where it's going, and you have some good off speed, you're going to be rewarded. I still remember Tyler Glass now on the Dodgers, and he's had injury history. He's missed a significant amount of time, but he got paid a big payday. And one thing he said was, I understand that I wouldn't change anything because I was rewarded for this. Velocity is still king, and my stuff plays, and that's why the Dodgers traded for me, and that's why I have this contract. So it's because of the results of the game. When guys can do that, it makes them better. And Zach, you got a follow-up?
Yeah, actually, I didn't plan on asking this, but I'm curious your thoughts, Yoni, on maybe the sticky stuff. I know it was a big epidemic a few years ago where they start banning everything, and I know a few guys actually. Ryan, was it Tyler Glass now, I think, talked about, he's like, hey, that helps my arm. He was like, it makes me feel better. What are your thoughts on how much does that impact maybe elbow injuries and such?
Yeah, I think like in the short term, and we saw this as soon as they banned the sticky stuff, and I think they did it mid-season, right? We saw injuries skyrocket, and since that, they've kind of leveled off. And the reason we saw it skyrocket is guys were used to having that help in their grip. You rob them of that. Now their muscles aren't ready to just pick up the load right away, and they're gripping the hell out of the ball. That's going to put a tremendous amount of stress up chain towards your elbow. So that's why we saw it. You put it back in, two things are going to happen. One, I bet you injury rates come back down. Two, batting averages and home runs do the same thing. Yeah. And what does the game want?
Exactly.
I mean, what does the game want, or what do I want?
Yeah. You can answer both, right?
Okay, well, what the game wants, they like dingers, they like the long ball. What I like finding different ways to win the ball game. I like the hidden runs. I like moving a guy over.
I like healthy pitchers.
I like healthy pitchers. I love pitching duels.
Yeah.
I love all the aura that comes with it. And also, I do love the old school baseball of like, hey, you know what, back in the day, you do something wrong, well, send a message. Or, coming in hard to break up a double play, part of the game. I get it. It's different times. But I guess I did answer what all the things I would want. But, that's one could dream. It happened, okay?
I want to see more Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. That's what I want to see.
I think at some times – and I know that baseball can say, it's not good for the sport. Now, I would argue in hockey, they sometimes start a game and they just say, everyone get out of the way. Me and this dude are going toe-to-toe, and we're to settle this right now. And it gets the people going, and then they're like, okay, you're getting timeout for 5 minutes, and then welcome back to the game. A little bit, I know it's a little bit different with pitchers. You go head hunting, there's some problems, but saw some things with like Pedro Martinez back in the day and like Gary Sheffield. And Sheffield wanted to piss off Pedro intentionally, so called time late. And then Pedro's like, oh, okay, I have 2 strikes on you, but you did that again? Well, guess what? Here's 97 right in your back. Yep. It was entertaining.
Yeah,
it was entertaining.
Something to it.
2 things, Yoni, and we'll wrap up here. One, since we're on the pitching side, there is a pitcher that we actually talked in extensive, technicalities with Kyle Gibson. And Gibby was talking about Zach Eflin. And I asked Gibby about that. Zach said his arm was feeling the best it had. His back was feeling the best it has. It's the first time he hasn't felt pain in so long. And the result was Eflin's arm angle continued to drop over the last few years. But Gibby said, and I know you're going to love hearing this, Gibby goes, man, when your back isn't right, how much it throws off the rest of your body can make a significant difference. So when Zach Eflin says he feels 100% where he doesn't have to overcompensate, Yoni, how big of a deal is that from a medical standpoint?
I mean, it's massive, and it ties beautifully into Akin and like what he's dealing with adductor strains, right? Where if that mid portion of the body, your core, your adductors, we talked about this a little bit with Hendrickson, like how the adductor, your inside thigh muscle, attaches to your pelvis, which is exactly where your abdominals attach to. Obviously, your low back attaches into that pelvis as well. Like if that midsection or your core is off, you don't have an awesome base, a really solid base from which to generate force. Remember, you're generating a tremendous amount of force and torque from the rubber, and it's got to go up the chain and finish at your fingertips. If there's something wrong in the middle of that chain, kind of like we were talking about with Grayson, your back, your core, your adductor, everything is going to be haywire from your arm slot to your final finish to the way you snap through. So it's going to affect velocity. It's also going to affect accuracy. So you better believe the better your midsection feels, the better core control you have, the better your arm is going to feel, the better your productivity is going to be.
Well, if he feels good, he's proven he's been productive when healthy. And I mean, not just a little bit productive. He has been one of the top arms, not saying top 10, not saying Cy Young, but 2023, when he's saying a few years now, where he felt really good. He had a 3.5 ERA and pitched 31 games that season. And then not too bad the next year. He had a 3.59 in 2024 in 28 games started. That was the year he was traded over to Baltimore at the deadline, and he was sensational for the Birds down the stretch. You mentioned adductor strain. Maybe you're reading my mind. Keegan Akin's officially on the IL, says a minimum of 15 days. In your opinion, best case, worst case scenario when it comes to Keegan Akin?
Yeah, I think 2 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks is worst case scenario. I think 15 days makes a lot of sense. If it's a moderate adductor strain, so again, that's your groin muscle, you're probably looking at about 2 to 3 weeks before that gets back right. It's important that the audience understands what the legs are doing as you move through the pitching motion. I don't think we know whether it's his lead leg or his drive leg, but regardless, both are so important to generating force and velocity. When that lead leg hits the ground, it actually acts as a brake. It's got to be super solid, super firm so that it creates a brake and rotates the pelvis for you. And that's what slings your upper body forward. Verlander is an unbelievable example of this, where his heel and toe will hit the ground and you'll see his knee shoot back into extension or straight, and that propels him forward. That's where he gets all of his velocity. If the adductor is a problem on that lead leg, the athlete's going to have a lot of trouble putting the brakes on. All of a sudden, he's going to get loose and sloppy up front. Velocity is going to come down. And if he's not exact with his placement of the leg, his accuracy is going to be a problem. Also, conversely, if you look at it, if it is his drive leg, his rear leg, as he propels forward, he's going to be missing that push off the rubber. And so both of those, you will see a drop in velo. And like we talked about earlier, like if you have a drop in velo, your productivity is going to go along with it. So he's really got to get this right. So I would say long end is 4 weeks. Quickest end is 2.
Keegan, get healthy soon, man. He's a creature.
Call me, Keegan. Call me.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I think a lot of people, if they need some assistance, they're going to give you a call, Yoni. And last little tidbit, just you have a quick memory of all the years of opening day. It's tomorrow. Any moment that jumps out to you over the years?
What do I love about opening day? Dude, I just love the orange runway. I could see that like every day of the year, you know, just like roll that thing out, seeing like a Cal Ripken sprint down that thing.
Okay. That's where we disagree.
Okay, yeah, not that guy.
Yeah.
Palmero, like I would love to see a Rafi sprint, a Melvin Mora, a Juan Bell. Like
now we're talking. Melvin Mora, by the way. Love Melvin Mora, too. He's nicest guy in the world. He still looks like he can play. MVP baseball 2005, underrated, might be one of the best players in the game. But you're right. There is something about that orange carpet. There's something about baseball in Baltimore that's just so exciting, and it should be great. I still remember, I think Tony Batista hit a grand slam on opening day. You remember Tony Batista's batting stance, by the way, where it was
super open. Yeah. Looking at the pitcher, like his belt buckle's looking at the pitcher.
Yeah, it's like if I'm here, right? I turn.
I love it.
Yeah.
Why don't more guys do that?
I don't know. Do you see it? How was my trunk rotation though?
That was pretty good. I feel like you've been working on it. Now, if that's Batista, show me what Craig Worthington looked like.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I can. Try to look at the exact stance. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, you know what? Next time you come on, I'll get the Craig Worthington going for that. Deal? Does that work? Hey, one more time, Yoni, where can everyone find you on besides the locations? They need to get a hold of you. Where is it?
Yeah, look us up. True Sports Physical Therapy. We're everywhere. Happy to help you.
And what about on socials?
Socials, True Sports PT, mostly active on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. Got tons of DM with injury questions. Hey, I want to work for you. We're hiring all over the place. So if you're a PT, you love sports, send me a DM. Get right back to you.
And we collab with you quite a bit. So a collab coming True Sports way here in the next couple of days as we talk about all these injuries. But Yoni, you're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you. And yeah, I'll talk to you probably like in a couple hours is usually what happens. So
I love it. Go Birds.
Go Birds, baby. He is fantastic. And you know, whether you want to hear it or not, he's usually right. You know, I don't like when he's right sometimes.
That's the unfortunate thing is like he's always right, but it's not always the right that we want him to be. And he's
humble about being right here. You know, it's just, it's always when he's like, you know, you only tell me how bad it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good. You know, it always turns into that. But for all the information, find them over at True Sports. They are phenomenal, and truly, I mean that. And you guys know we try to bring people on that we think are the best at explaining this. Yoni is one of the best out there, especially in this region alone. So use them as a resource. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We still got some things going on today's show. Mark with Paradise Breaks is going to join us here in a few minutes to talk about the hobby of the card industry. And we might have some specialty to explain that specifically. And then there's a couple other things that aren't meant for the show today, but our channel members and group, you're going to find out more about that soon enough. Zach, though, it's time before we do that for a little poll talk. You ready for a poll talk?
Poll talk.
Poll talk. What's the poll today?
Today's poll decided in, I guess, honor of opening day being tomorrow. We got a little predictions. Got some predictions. I said, how many games do the Baltimore Orioles win? The options were 81 plus because get to 500, 85 plus, 90 plus, and under 80 games. The winner with 45% of the vote is 90 plus games. We got 85 plus games coming in second at 39% of the vote. And then 12% of the vote goes to 81 plus, just 4% voting under 80. So, I mean, expectations, 45%, I don't know, 69 votes. Nice. We got 45% of the vote saying over 90 wins. It's going to be tough. It's a tough AL East, but Ryan, where are we, what's your vote?
I'm an optimist, you know, I'm a glass half full guy. So yeah, over 90.
I'll go over 90. That's where that's why I put it there.
That means things are going well. That means you're probably going to the postseason again. And also, for the record, if you looked at the fan graphs predictions yesterday or anything so far, whatever's out there, keep in mind, again, if you're saying no team is going to win 90 games in the AL East, you were looking for something that hasn't happened in the last quarter century. Yeah. 2000 is the last year that a team in the AL East did not have 90 wins. And that year, the Yankees had 87 wins with 7 to go and lost the last 7 games.
Yeah. Actually, just funny that you just brought that up. I saw a stat today that the last time the Yankees had lost 10 straight was 1913. That's
When's the last time the Orioles lost? 10 straight?
2021.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was good. Hey, you want to talk quickly? Maybe I say that for throwback. Well, Thursday. So it's for you guys to know we're not going to have the show tomorrow, obviously, because of opening day.
Yeah.
We'll be busy. I know a lot of people love the show and we love you, but we all know where you will be at 3 p.m. You're probably watching baseball. And it's not just the Orioles. It's opening day for the majority of teams here in the Major League Baseball circuit, but the Orioles are home. They'll welcome the Twinkies in Minnesota. And we're off and running. It'll be what? Joe Ryan versus Trevor Rogers. Rogers tomorrow. But that's all we have on that. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm getting a little bit of my seventh inning stretch here. We're getting towards that part of the show.
I guess, yeah, we're like seventh inning.
Are we seventh inning in?
Yeah.
We could be
that's
sixth.
A good time. No, I think seventh. Just that's a good, Pole talk, like seventh inning stretch. Okay. I like that.
For today.
Well, for today, yeah.
Mark, how you feeling? You ready to rock? You want to do it?
Ready.
All right. I think I'd say your chariot awaits, but you can hang out there we'll get the camera ready and set up before we rock. But for you guys that are knowing, one of the parts of our strategy this year is we're trying to create more content for you all, and look no other place than in the card industry. Yeah, we're talking like baseball cards, not just baseball cards, though. It can be football, you name it. That's why we thought Mark would be great to have on, because right down the street here in Baltimore City, Mark's brought Paradise Breaks from Vegas to here. And there's a whole lot of things that I kind of know, but I'm going to know more in time, and we're going to have that experience with you. So are we ready to rock, Zach?
Let's roll.
All right. Guys, for the first time making his Ryan Ripken Show debut, give it up for Mark with Paradise Breaks. Mark.
Thank you.
Can we hear everyone hear him okay?
We're good.
Bark in the chat if you can hear him. Great. Oh, no, Ollie. Sorry, buddy.
He's my friend down here, so we're good.
You know what? And he's right underneath you. Wow, you really bonded with him.
Yeah, we made a little connection over in the green room over here, and he's hanging out. So
what are you chewing on, buddy?
Loves just wood.
What? No, what is that? Ollie.
I think he ripped the toy open.
Oh, then you know what?
Yeah, that's exactly what
That's what it is. Don't eat that, buddy. Okay? Please don't eat that. That's a squeak.
What a segue. Speaking of ripping.
Yeah, speaking of ripping
cards. How about that?
Yeah, so you know what? Great segue into this. All right, so Mark, break this down for us.
Absolutely.
Another little pun there. Break this down. The card industry, everything. Explain what it is for those that don't know, and explain that there is different avenues of this whole, not just business, but the hobby that it presents for so many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's exploded really since COVID hit. Everyone needed something to do from their couch, including myself. And, ripping or breaks has really taken off since then. I mean, all of us rip packs as kids. I brought some packs from 82, 84, 86, and some newer packs today. So we're going to have some fun ripping that stuff. But honestly, like, everyone really needed something to get through those dark days of sitting at home, and collectibles in general, including baseball cards, sports cards in general, took off. And for me, I got back into the business because I got laid off like everyone else. And this little side thing that I was working on became my new main job, and I wasn't prepared to go back to corporate America after. And I started from my house, and literally I had my desk in my living room and started ripping cards, going live on Facebook. And next thing you know, more and more people wanted to get into the hobby. And back then, during COVID, Facebook was like the only platform you would really rip cards on. And now we're on eBay Live, we're on Fanatics Live, we're on TikTok, we're on Loop. It's endless. Whatnot. There's so many live shopping platforms that you can purchase things like sports cards, but also like all sorts of collectibles. There's like Labubu phase was a thing for a little bit. So collectibles in general, people love the mystery boxes. People love getting to have that nostalgic feeling of ripping packs that we all had when we were kids. And it's fun to rip the new stuff, the old stuff, different types of surprise boxes. So yeah, I mean, it's an enjoyment like nothing else. So
what is Labu? What?
Labubus.
Labubus.
Yeah, Labubus.
What is a Labubu?
I don't know how to explain them. I don't know.
I can't tell if this is a combination of like.
I want to hear what you think it is.
Well, my first thought is like, maybe not my first thought. My second thought was la boo boo, like you have a boo boo, like you got hurt. No, it's not it.
It's like
it got a boo boo. It didn't last very long. It was hot for about 6 months. It was like a little monster toy that was a collectible. It had different colors and different variations that you would, attach to your bag.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain. It's literally like
what is this thing, dude?
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, how do I spell this?
I think it's like
L-E-B-O-O.
No, it's B-U-B-U. La Boo Boo, I think. Yeah, they're like
L-A-B-U.
Oh, La B-U-B-U.
There you go.
Yeah.
What the heck are these things?
It was like the trolls.
Yeah,
of the last couple months. But
Can time out. Are you kidding me with
look
this
at the
thing?
prices on some of them. They
Time
were
out.
even higher.
Time
before.
out. No more sports cards.
No, yeah, we're gonna, believe me, we're gonna get into this in a second. But Zach, can you pull up a Labubu?
Yeah.
Because this is part of the industry. You know what? This is what's fun about it. Coming from a guy as a kid, Mark, my thing was like the Beanie Babies that I remember, right? That was a thing. I don't know if are those worth anything.
I think there's a few that still are.
Okay, but like, are we talking?
For the most part, they're all junk.
$3?
Probably.
Great.
Probably.
You know what? They're probably great toys. Ollie?
Right. We need a new
Great
one.
toys.
Ollie needs a new one now.
He needs a new one because he just ripped that one in half. Do you get into Labu?
Yeah. Labu.
Is it ready to show some Labu?
I'm trying to. Where did this even go?
And while you're getting that set up, so I just mentioned that Paradise Card Breaks, you guys just opened up here in Baltimore recently. Here, you had one of the debuts was having Dempsey and Ogden in. I believe it was last
Such
fall.
nice guys. Yeah,
right?
back in December.
December it was.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I know you have a lot of things we can cover at the end, but it's right here in the heart of Baltimore.
Yeah, we're literally 4 blocks away from the studio here, so we're right on Broadway. And we're right on Broadway. So in Fells Point. So we just opened up about 6 months ago. But I'm born and raised in Baltimore. I grew up in Carroll County, and I moved to Vegas for the convention business. That was my previous career before COVID crushed that my life's work in the convention business. And I was out in Vegas. I lived in Vegas. I've been in Vegas for 10 years. And, I opened up the Paradise Card Break shop on Las Vegas Boulevard on the Strip about 4 years ago now. So we've done big things. I love the guys there in Vegas, but something inside of me was like, man, I got to come back to Baltimore at some point, So opportunity to open up a shop here, get some support from Topps and the other distributors. And we had a space in the market here in Fells Point, and I had to do it. So.
You had to do it, and you had to bring the Labubus with
Topps actually has Labubu cards too. They came out for Christmas.
What?
Not going to say they did very well, but there are Topps cards. So there's Disney, there's Labubu,
Zach,
there's Star Wars.
Zach, where the hell is this Labubu thing?
You're still searching for
Labubu. There it is. What is this thing?
It's a Labubu.
I mean,
that is a Labubu.
Like, weirdly, I feel like we got to get one now just to have.
In 6 months, you're going to be ready to get rid of it.
But
Like the whole rest
I'm
of the
not
market.
saying I'm going to buy a lot of these things. I think we need one of those. Like the one with the Coke bottle seems pretty cool, but this,
there's currently one on.
This is insane.
There's currently one going for $4,300.
There you go.
Yeah, they are.
Which Labu is it? It's not
This
one of these.
is the
Labu.
Pop Mart, the pink. I don't know the one.
So it's the pink Labu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Labubu.
Well, that's great. You know what? I don't know if that's for me, but obviously in this industry, right? It's almost for anybody. Before we get into the card breaking part, what was that? There was like a.
Yeah, I heard that too. I don't know what that.
Was it like the Labu alarm?
The Labubu market.
Honestly, it might
the
be.
Labubu market coming back.
I swear it was like I thought something was about to open
magical. It sounded like something magical.
Whoever did that was.
I don't know what that was.
Cool.
I'm just gonna pretend like that was on purpose.
Anyway, what I want to say is things that for the hobby side, or and one, I know a couple of these are really cool for me personally, but there are some really cool old memorabilia from cards, and you brought 2 collectibles today. And I recognize some people.
Couple people there.
You
You might know a couple guys. couple stories behind them.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you got right there? We can show
I don't know how we can
first.
show in the camera. You want me to bring it up or first I have to show the most iconic. Uncle Bill, as you may know, Bill Ripken. This is the notorious F face. I'm not sure if we can say it or not.
We can say fuck face.
It's the fuck face card. This is the PSA 10 version of it. Back then, common card. They put out I can't remember the count that they put, but they actually got them recalled because it had the fuck face put on there. Now there's like multiple stories behind it, whether Billy knew about it or his teammates put him up to it or what. You're gonna have to get the real story from him. I know there's a lot of different variations of the story, but this is like super iconic error card, as they call it, that they basically put a black little piece of digital tape over it and reprinted the card. There's like a white variation. There's all sorts of variations with it. So that was one of the first cards that started having the error. So that was in the 90s, man. That was something that everybody went to the card store looking for packs to try to hit stuff like this.
Yeah.
So that really brings it to where modern day cards are now, where a lot of the value comes from scarcity. So the autographs, the case hits, as you would call, they're numbered now. So if you got an autograph of Cal Ripken, it's not just unlimited printing. They may have only made 10 autographs. So now it's a serial number to it. You can actually kind of really scale it as far as value.
Yeah.
So a number to 10 is going to be more valuable than a card number to 50. So that's where the hobby is kind of turned back around. Whereas back in the 90s, they just left the printer running. They unfortunately just made it. It became the junk wax era. So that's what it's known as now in the 90s, where they just continuously printed over and over and over again because kids would go buy it. So it didn't matter. But it really kind of flooded the market. And then unfortunately, a lot of the companies folded. And now COVID was able to bring it back, where it's been resting kind of like in the weeds a little bit. And people started seeing that there was way less print runs now. LeBron James era, that's the perfect timeline. All those cards, the Steph Currys, those print runs were way lower. Now the print runs are raising up again. So Topps is working on kind of lowering them because the popularity has just went through the roof. So it's booming. So this is a great example of those rare cards that, I mean, I bought this card a couple years ago. It was about $200 to $300. And now this in the PSA 10, it's worth like $1,100. So just the market keeps going up.
Fuckface keeps rocking, keeps rolling, baby.
Topps actually, and part of the reason it went back up is because Jackson Holiday's rookie year last year, they have Jackson holding the bat in the same look, and it says Fun Face on the bottom. So they made all sorts of different various cuts, and they put a white version on. They did the whole thing. So it brought the original Billy Ripken card way back up.
And this is the fun part of it. This is the stories behind it, and the other card you have, which is maybe not the iconic one, but for me, it's iconic because it is rare with the three individuals you have on that one in your hand.
So this card, typically back in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't autographs on cards. It was really just cards you had on boxes. It had the player's likeness on there, but there's never really autographs. So cards like that I'm about to show, these were signed in person. Now, if that was done in present day, they wouldn't be worth as much. But back then, really having these guys sign these cards never really happened. So the card I have is 1988 Donruss, and one of my favorite cards, the Ripken baseball family card that has Billy, Cal, and Cal Sr. on it. I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up or not. But I was actually at the Dallas Card Show. I was walking through trade night, and I saw this in the display case. I'm like, I rarely buy cards for myself. I usually buy it for the business. But when I saw this, I was like, man, I need that card. What's the price? In my head, I'm like, whatever price he says, I'm buying it. But he told me a story that he actually was traveling through Baltimore for like auction for someone was selling their house and everything that was in the inside. Yeah. And this was like in someone's attic, like stored away. And he doesn't know where it came from, but it was just buried in a collection somewhere. So I was like, I'll take that. So, so I acquired this card, not for sale. It's literally my personal safe at home, but this is a card, when me and you first started talking, I'm like, this is just like such an iconic card of your family. So yeah.
That's what I mean about with this, the whole industry here. this is where there's special cards or pieces that hold true. That's the first one, Mark, that I've seen that on a card. I've seen on a baseball. I've seen on maybe a piece of paper.
Yep.
But having Senior, Bill, and my dad on there, I think it's the first card I've ever seen like that. And, that moment, especially the brothers, then the father-son connection is, one of the coolest moments. And it brings back stories. And I'm going to have Bill on here eventually again for all of our channel members and for all of our community. Bill is going to be a little bit more of a recurring guest this year. So stay tuned with that. But Bill talked about that he likes to play the victim for, Cal was so great. And, I was just chopped liver. Dude, you played 12 years in the bigs. But I get it. There was a lot to live up to. But he said of all the things that my dad accomplished and many other great players, he jokes, he goes, I'm probably the only guy in baseball history that had this happen, is that when I hit my first big league home run, the people that I shook my brother's hand when I scored, and then I shook my grandfather's hand, who was the manager, or in the dugout right after that. So I always thought that was a cool moment, and I can look back at that card and see that. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
really cool.
I've actually got one more card. I pulled this last minute.
Hey!
I wanted to show you.
Yeah, show it.
So another just like crazy that this even card exists. So this is your dad from 1992 triple play. It's a little Hot Shots card.
Damn.
Of him as a kid. So we got that on the camera.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, look at that.
You know what? Style on there.
Yeah, right.
Little Cal.
So another PSA 10. It says on the back, it says, guess who? When this photo was taken, no one ever thought he'd be challenging Lou Gehrig's consecutive games record. Now he's one of the best ever play the game and a great guy off the field too. This is his 12th year with the Orioles. He's Cal Ripken. So this cool stuff.
It's
Great
is
guy.
that worth? Yeah, he's not. Did you say great guy?
Isn't that what?
Yeah, he called him out as a
Yeah, it literally says on there,
Yeah.
great guy.
great guy.
On the back.
Yep.
Great guy.
Great guy. Just
Mm-hmm.
in case you didn't know.
Thinking about that. Are those the scene the three Ripkins and young little Cal? What are those worth?
Well, this is I've never seen anybody with this card, this triple auto. So just the regular card that's not autographed is usually about like 100, 150 bucks.
Yeah.
Auto, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone has it. So there's no price on it. A card like this is probably like another $125 card as a PSA 10. But again, just a base card. But the fact that it's graded a 10 shoots the value way up. It makes the population that we talked about a lot smaller and more scarce. So people want scarcity.
Yeah, they do. And if you want some other young photos of Calvin, we can put it on a card if we want. I guess. Hell, I
don't even know how they
know.
request this.
I
Like,
don't.
when-
Yeah.
Triple play. Leaf actually made this in 1992. How did that even come about?
That's
Did they get
what
a
I-
hold of a yearbook? Or,
I might shoot him
Crazy.
a text and be like, "How did this happen?
how yeah.
Do you
There's
think
a story.
Do you think you look good in this photo?" And he's going to make some wise ass remark. But I digress. So where do you want to go with the next stage here?
Yeah, so I
What's the-
brought some packs, newer packs and some older packs. So I've got Fleer 1982. That's your dad's rookie year in there. So there's a chance we could pull one of his rookie cards. I've got 1984. That's Don Mattingly and Darryl Strawberry rookie.
Hey.
And I've got 1986. I'm not sure who's a rookie in 1986, but I've got that as well. And then I've got some new Alan Ginter from Topps as well. So
Oh, hell yeah.
we
Can
got
we-
that. And then I'm going to let you guys each rip a hobby box of Topps Finest that's got 2 autographs. This is from 2025. So we've got tons of rookies in it. So
Let's
Yeah.
go. Well, let's can we
cool, let's do it.
can we do it around the table?
Yeah.
And you
let's
can
do it
you
right
can rip whatever you want as well. Yeah, boom, baby. So
here.
I'm going to go through this, and this is the other fun part we're having with the content because there's storytelling and there's current players that love this. By the way, Rico Garcia, I think, was one of the guys that came in.
He literally stopped the show. We've been talking on Instagram. He saw some of our content, reached out and said, "Hey, I need some help with supplies. I don't know what I'm buying. I just got into the hobby. What can I do? Like, can you help me out?" I said, "Yeah, come on in." So he stopped in the shop about 2 days ago. And yeah, he had some cards. He got into a break on one of the live platforms and he didn't know what to do with the cards, and he's like, hey, can I sell these back? What's going on? So we bought some cards from him. He's actually collecting Michael Jordan vintage PSA 10 cards. So if you have any, he actually got the baseball. He's collecting like the baseball Michael Jordan cards. So
no way.
So he's collecting those in PSA 10. That's his thing he's into right now. So
okay, we need to get Rico on here to do this.
Oh yeah.
You know what we can also do? We can get Kyle the Iron Rooster. He could be cooking up some food or whatnot if we're hungry. We want to make sure we don't mess up the cards, but we can make it a whole thing here. All right, so I'm opening up.
Let's do some Ginter. This is
start with the Ginter.
This is from 2025, Allen Ginter. This is like, it has vintage style to it.
Yeah, I like that.
There's like some mini cards. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
So these are, and this is 2025, you said?
25. You've got like Livy Dunn's in here. I got Livy Dunn, Volpe.
I got Grant McCary. Let me see. I got Brandon Nimmo. Richard Kind, the actor.
There you go.
Got Jackson Merrill, Maryland legend.
Ricky Henderson. Luis Arise. CJ Abrams. What are these little guys here?
They're just like little mini cards.
Mini cards?
You can actually have those autographed. A lot of the celebrities have autographed like some of the smaller cards. Like I think Daddy Yankee was in it a couple years ago. Like a lot of comedians and things like that signed those. So Joe from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
We did an event with him. I want to say like a month ago. And he's like, oh, hey, I know cards. I have an autograph in Allen Ginter. I'm like, oh, cool. I had no idea. That's freaking awesome. So he was super into jumping on one of our live streams. So it's crazy how like cards now, it's not just sports. It's celebrity. It's culture. Everything kind of being brought in.
Oh, they love it. So I got Jacob Wilson and Bo Bichette on these mini cards here.
Mini card, I got Scott Boras.
You did not,
you really?
You got
Yes.
Boris?
I got
awesome.
Scott Boras.
Scott.
I was going to say, we'll have to have him
Bring
back
him
on.
up. Yeah, we'll have Scott back on here to talk about it.
Also, I will say this one just looks cool. Got this Willie Mays. This looks like it's. I like this.
Very
way
nice.
This looks.
So those are called chrome cards.
Yeah.
That's like, so you have paper cards and then you have chrome cards. So Topps every year will have like Topps flagship where all the cards are paper stock. And then you'll have Topps Chrome, where those are like more of a metallic finish. They're just a higher level. They're just an enhanced type of card. So it increases the value.
My last two on this pack, I got Joe Carter and Andy Pettit. So I got a Wicked Curve card. Does that just mean anything, or that's just a cool looking card?
So these packs, they're retail packs. They'll have like inserts, special cards like that. Every once there's stories of people that have hit 101 superfractors, which is like the only card in existence out of packs like this. Yeah. Very rare. It's it's very unlikely that you're going to hit something like that, but
for sure
it happens. Someone's like, I walked into a Target and I bought a pack off the shelf and I hit a Mike Trout 101. It just crazy stories like that happen.
Well, that would be pretty cool if we end up doing that at some point. I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't hate it. So those are and again, that's the Allen and Ginter. I love the old school look.
I was going to say, I love the old school look.
Well, now we're really going to go old school.
Let's go old school.
I think let's save the 1982 for the end.
Yeah.
Let's go 86.
86.
We'll jump in the DeLorean here and we'll start with 86. I actually think there's a piece of gum in the front too. So
Ryan, you got to eat it.
Is the gum still good?
I
wouldn't test it, but hey,
Let's take a look.
We're near Fells Point, so you never know. People try crazy things out
here. See. Oh, and it's literally
it's literally a stick of gum.
Stick of gum right there.
That is just,
there it is.
It just snapped right off.
Does it still smell like gum?
No.
It doesn't have any scent. Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
This is a brick.
So obviously was this pack process or like what
this
do
is
they
literally from 1986?
I was going to say, so this piece of gum is literally.
This gum is that old. So we're talking about 4-year-old piece of gum.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I saw Joe made a comment in here about, hey Joe, you want a 40-year-old piece of gum here? It's good. It's great.
Ken Griffey of the Yankees.
Senior.
I didn't even know he played for the Yankees.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that either because Junior said he'd never played for the Yankees.
Say,
you're right.
He hates the Yankees.
He played for the Yankees for at least 4 years.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
How about that? All right, let's see if I got any. I got a Willie Hernandez card.
There's an iconic Bo Jackson card in this set.
I got a Bob Boone and Bob Melvin.
Oh, Bob Melvin.
I got Bob Gibson. We got a lot of Bobs.
We got a lot of Bobs here. Bob.
Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, a Tommy. Wait, was I'm thinking of a different one, but Tommy's an icon right there.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Oh,
I have Sir Tommy John.
Okay.
No, that's actually a great one. That's just a fun.
Tommy John right there.
I got the old Angels, Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
There we go.
So Tommy John, 22 years. 22 years. Pitched 669 games. Is that right? 669 games, shirts and pants, man. That's a heck of a lot of games. Let's go through a little bit more.
People were built different back then.
They were. So Ferguson Jenkins was honored at the Cal Senior Foundation Gala this past Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And Fergie, they're talking about he pitched 40 games in a season. Like 40. He's like 40, 37, 38.
And they don't just pitch to the fifth inning.
No.
They pitch the entire game. They'll pitch in extras if they need to.
Yeah. And then throw a bullpen the next day.
Oh, the B, Al Bumbry.
Oh,
Damn, Al.
Big Al.
You're looking good, man. Padre. And this is the final year of his career. Was this card for Al? He was an Oriole for the other 13 years. Al Bumbry, man, the B. You know, these cards definitely have that 40-year-old.
They got the texture.
I can feel it. They, you know what? They feel like they've been in the pack for 40 years. Zach, any other ones to write home about?
I got Mike Boddicker.
Boddicker.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to look through.
20-game winner.
Yeah. That's that.
On to 84.
On to 84.
On to 84. Go a little further back. More gum, it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
How much will it take to eat how much you want, Zach, to eat this gum?
All right, so we're looking for Don Mattingly rookie card. That's a super iconic card in here. And the Darryl Strawberry. Those are the two big boys.
So,
Lee Smith. I just got Lee Smith. Cubs.
This is just stuck.
Slowest walk. Hey, you might want to leave that on there.
And it's a big Ed Murray. It's an Eddie Murray card. Yeah,
that's great.
Give it to Ed.
Yeah, Ed, here you go. I'll leave it on. Dude, it is glued on here. Oh. Okay.
There you go.
Damn. Big Ed here, man. 1984. I should have asked Ed. We should next time we talk to him, Zach.
Yeah.
How do you get the sideburns? How can I get to that look, or is that just beyond its time?
That's beyond. That's natural. That's just. You gotta have the aura. It comes with the aura. Lee Smith. I remember as a kid, just him the walkout from the bullpen. It was timed sometimes how slow he would take from the bullpen to the mound. Just unbelievable.
And this is
so intimidating.
This is the fun part when you can look back at players you've heard of, the memories. Through all of it. Dusty Baker.
No way.
Dusty B.
Got a card. It's the NL active career home run leaders. We got Tony Perez, Dave Kingman, and Mike Schmidt. A little three-fer.
How about that? Back in the day, I got win one of 3 trips for 4 to games 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 of the 1985 World Series.
I don't think we're redeeming that one.
Yeah. It's not redeemable now? Well, damn.
No.
All right, I'm done with this then. Ron Washington.
Speaking of redemptions, I had one of my breakers. I mentioned I was coming on the podcast today, and he's like, make sure you tell him that I was collecting Ryan Ripken Nationals Bowman First cards.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was getting into all the breaks and just to get your redemption card. And apparently he was like, yeah, the redemptions finally came in. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, redemptions are like you can't get the autographs in time for the set to be released. So they have the players sign after the fact, and then you have to basically mail them in to Topps or whoever, and then they distribute it. Once you have like your card like this, that's a redemption card, they mail it to you after the fact. Do you remember that, number one?
Oh, absolutely.
And did you sign all the cards?
Yep.
Did you keep any?
Yep, I kept some. I signed them. And the funny thing with that photo, they took a photo of me when I was a freshman at South Carolina, and that's not where I got drafted out of. I went to JUCO, but it was a photo of me in the fall running the bait or swinging at South Carolina. And also in that fall, I sucked. I was god awful. And I'm looking at that photo. So every time I see that, they put like blue and red or white as like Nationals colors.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, it's a cool card. That wasn't a great memory for me at that field. It's probably one of the few times if I was swinging that I may or may not have gotten a hit that fall.
Well, with Bowman, when you had like your Bowman first, it's your first card. I actually brought with me too the Gunnar Henderson Bowman first card.
Oh,
so this is like his first card. So whenever they do this, these guys are either in high school or they're in college, and they Photoshop the uniform on them. And it's like some of the guys, they literally look like they're 14 or 15 years old in some of these photos, especially some of the guys from the Dominican Republic.
I was going to say, Gunnar, I still post every time he hits a home run his introductory press conference right after being drafted. And I'm like, you are 17 in that. Like, that makes sense. I'm like, you look 7 years old in this.
like legit.
Literally.
I got 1983 highlight, Johnny Bench, Gaylord Perry, Carl Yastrzemski. Ooh, there we go. Well,
I'm itching to get to 82.
Let's go to
Are we ready?
82.
We ready?
For 82.
I don't think there's gum. I don't feel gum in this. They
They
didn't have gum yet in 82.
I guess they really didn't care about their product enough in 82.
I was hoping to collect the gum.
84, I guess, is when they really had to start using it.
If you start collecting gum from,
I said I have a pile here.
Are you holding on to it?
No, but there was going to be a third piece in the pile.
Okay.
All right. This is the Cal rookie year.
And we're looking for that. Oh, Pete Vukovich. How about that? That is a hell of a stash. All right. So looking for Cal. I see Sparky. It's not Cal.
Willie Stargell. That was the only name I recognized. I know a lot of baseball, but I don't. None of these guys.
Oh, I got a couple. I got one. Mike Jones.
Fred
Who?
Lynn.
Mike Jones.
There you
Mike
go.
Jones.
I got Raleigh Fingers.
Okay. Another card collector, Raleigh Fingers, lives in Vegas, frequents a lot of the card shops. He has like a Raleigh Fingers collection, and he heavily involved in the card community. Raleigh Fingers.
Raleigh Fingers.
Really?
I feel like I would love to talk to Raleigh about a lot of things. One, I still would love to know about how he conditioned that mustache.
Oh,
all
it's
the
still
years.
rocking too.
Yeah,
still
it
rocking.
looks vintage. In this photo, it's like that's like
Prime
oh my
Raleigh.
goodness. That thing is the tip. The like to have it. He's got to have a little bit of like hairspray or something to roll it. No, maybe I don't know. Well,
Got Scott McGregor over here.
Scotty.
Because I will say, biggest thing I'm taking away from this, uniforms were just peaking back then.
Oh, yeah, the
It's just some
vintage look, man.
incredible
I
uniforms.
know we got the City Connect ones. I think that were just leaked.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'd rather have the vintage like that. Like,
Yeah,
we gotta
oh
have,
my
we gotta have
gosh.
the throwbacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
These,
give me the throwbacks.
without a doubt.
Give me the throwbacks. So no Calvin rookie card.
No Cal. Till next time, I guess we're gonna have to try
We'll
next
try.
time. We've actually got these packs selling in the shop. They range anywhere from like $6 a pack to like $15, depending on the year. So the Cal rookie year, the Don Mattingly rookie year, Darryl Star, those are like the peak ones that people are. I mean, those are significantly valuable. They're a couple $1,000s if you hit one of those and it gets a 10. So big time.
That's nice. And also, you can have this gum.
And you get the gum.
and you
Yeah.
can't put a price on this.
You can't. This is.
Maybe on your medical bill. You can't put a price
They
on
will
that.
probably put a price.
You can probably put a price. Oh,
They
it's
will
snapped in half
very
again.
gladly give you a price on how
Time out.
much this impacts your life.
Can I see if this? Let's just see. This is gum, by the way.
Yeah.
Say it one more time. Yep.
Yep, there you
There
go.
it goes.
I'm playing the drums with mine. I don't know if you can.
This is.
Oh, it broke.
Yeah. The
There it is.
So, boys, we got the main event here.
main event.
I'm going to give you guys each one
Come
of these
on.
boxes. I'm going to rip it open for you just so
Yeah.
we don't have to teeth it.
There we go.
But isn't that a part of the experience? The teeth it could be.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm a little nervous because I've never done this.
I know,
this
this is-
way.
first time box rub.
You know. So how do I know if it's going to be good?
So these boxes, so they're called hobby boxes. So
Yep.
some products I'm going to talk about in a little bit are retail boxes. These are hobby exclusive to hobby shops like Paradise Card Breaks, hobby shops across the country. We get these direct from Topps. We'll get probably a case of like 8 boxes, and each of these boxes will have 2 autographs. There will be what's called parallels, where their cards are numbered. There might be a case hit where it's, 1 out of every couple thousand boxes. So this is where the industry is now. And this is why people are, kill for these boxes. So these boxes retail for about $450 a box.
Oh my goodness.
Call it gambling, call
Yeah.
it fun. It's a big end of the spectrum here.
I just got a little sweaty.
I know.
I got a little sweaty all of a sudden. I can't. I might have to rip my teeth.
It's open. I ripped on the top. So
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
yeah, I sliced it across the top.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, he's
I got
we're
excited.
already on the
I-
first pack over
I
here.
got mine all open and ready, and Ryan's still trying to break through the
I
packaging.
got excited.
The pre-cut packaging.
You know what, Zach? Your mouth off one more time, you're going to eat all pieces of the gum. How about that? How's that sound for you?
You know what?
All right.
So we're looking for a Skeens rookie autograph in this.
Okay. What's another big
anybody
one?
2025.
2025?
Skeens is probably the biggest one for sure. Jackson Holiday's rookie still in this.
Ooh.
How do I? Oh,
There you go. There you go.
I'm nervous here. Zach,
I know. I'm like, I know.
do I,
it's-
what,
There
do I
should only
start
be a
with
couple packs. I think
Yeah.
it's what, like 3 or 5.
I think
or
it's 6.
6 packs.
six?
So,
Okay.
You got a lot of. Hey, Ryan, don't mess
All
up.
right. Here we go. Good mojo. Good voodoo. Here we go. First one. I definitely need a tutorial on how to rip packs because
You
this
got to
is
start somewhere. It's okay.
this is brutal by me. I'm nervous. I don't want to mess up the card if it's good.
In the future, now we have to have like a card cam too.
I do.
We're getting. This is the first
I know.
one
This
here.
is.
We
I
gotta
tried
have
to
the
make a
card cam so
makeshift
guys can
behind
see
you,
it.
and then I couldn't get a cord over here, so we just.
Hey,
you
we're
know, we'll get
learning.
it next time.
All right. Garrett Cole. Okay. Signed Brooks Lee. You know what? I'm just going to come to you. Why don't I mean, I can come over to you. What's better? Should I go over there? What do you think? Here?
Go. Yeah.
Go
If
behind.
you want-
Go behind?
I was
Okay,
like,
I'm going to
let's
take this
do that.
off.
I'm gonna tell you what's good and what's not.
Hold on. Heel cinnamon. All right. Still hear me? Still see me? All right.
Yep.
There we go. All right. So first card is a Garrett Cole. So is that
Yep, just base card.
base card? Base card. So nothing. What
So
about
there's your first hit.
first
So,
hit?
Brooks Lee.
Okay. Can you maybe explain this?
Yep. So you're gonna have this. So hobby boxes have guarantees. So
Mhm.
you're gonna have 2 autographs in here. Your first autograph is this Brooks Lee, and it's numbered 34 of 75. So of this card, there's only 75 that were made in the
Mhm.
entire set. So this being this green border, that signifies it's numbered to 75. A black
Oh.
may be numbered to 10. A gold might be numbered to 50. So some people collect rainbows where they want the 101, they want the number to 10, the 25, and they collect all of them. That makes them like, a super collector of that player.
Woo,
So, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you're in the business of Brooks Lee now.
So what's
as he does well, this is a rookie. So
yeah.
rookie last year, as he continues
Yeah.
to do well, he turns into someone like an Ohtani. Look, Ohtani cards right now have literally 100x from where they were
I wonder why.
2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, I
right. And
wonder-
a couple
Yeah,
World
you know.
Series, best player in baseball, maybe ever. So
Okay.
I was
So
gonna say I didn't get an autograph, but I got 201 out of 300 Alan Roden. So
okay, not an autograph.
yeah, not an autograph.
So those are called parallels.
so that's a pair. All right.
So the same card is a base card, but it's also got it's numbered to 10. There's a 1 of 1 of all these cards. So that's the
dang.
most sought after
Yeah.
card of every player.
okay. So Corey Seager, nothing, right? Or,
Not a
arrivals, 2 arrivals. So Angel Martinez and Matt Shaw,
yep.
and then a Dylan Crew to wrap it out.
Yep.
It's also starting down in AAA there. So okay, so we got 1 here
Okay.
to start.
Yep.
Zach, so you got your first one down?
No, I didn't get an autograph. I just got
No,
the
but I mean,
parallel.
like your first one's done.
Yes, yes. I'm not
So,
gonna
like,
lie, I
when-
like my
when we're-
squad.
When we're breaking online a lot,
Mhm.
so Paradise Card Breaks is live all the time on a bunch of different platforms, eBay Live, Fanatics, all those sites I said before. When we're ripping this, a customer will actually order this box online, and
Yeah.
then we'll rip it for them on camera.
And then
So they
send
can
it.
come in, they can be in front. They don't have to go to the card shop. The card shop's there if you want the experience of coming in and trading. But you could buy this box for $400 online. We'll open it instantly. You want to rip another one? Just go right in the menu,
Wow.
buy another one, and we'll keep going. Keep going until you're happy.
I love it.
That's the fun
Gosh.
part of it.
All right. So Logan Webb, Kyle Schwarber, Shota, Jonathan, Corbin Carroll, they all look kind of the same, right?
Yeah, all
They're
base cards.
base cards. Juan Soto, base card.
Yep. You got, that's actually numbered. The next one, the
This one,
Altuve, number to 325.
number
so-
325. Okay. So
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. Chase Young, Justin Henry Malloy arrivals, and then Jackson Churio base card. So I got all base, Zach. What'd you get?
I got This one just on the back, it's a Mookie Betts says uncommon. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I also just love the way this Manny Machado one looks. Just looks super cool. But yeah, it looks like I just got base cards. Got a Kobe Mayo.
Saving
That
the
was
best
just for
last.
fun. That's just for fun.
So another way, instead of just buying the box for yourself, because some people may say, hey, $400 get pretty steep pretty quick.
Yeah.
What we do at Paradise and breakers all across the country, and this is really what's made this hobby what it is, we actually do breaks, which you could buy the Orioles, and you get every Orioles player out of this. So it's a fractional based purchase. So if you wanted the Orioles and maybe you were chasing Jackson Holiday in this product, maybe you only pay $15. Every Jackson Holiday or every Orioles player that comes out, you get that. So that's really what's taking this business off.
Well,
I will say, I also just like the way these look.
I mean, they're sick. I mean,
I enjoy this.
they're good looking cards. I got another Kyle Schwarber here.
Ooh, Schwarber.
I got another Shota. It's like the exact same pack for the start.
Yeah. So you'll see the format's usually the same. Base cards in the beginning, then you start to get your parallels. Will Wagner.
Get the hell out of
There you
here
go.
with that.
Old as dad.
No way.
It's an insert, but it's from 2131, I believe. Meant to be.
Yes. Yes. God,
That's not the pull I was hoping for. No offense, Calvin. I mean, you look great. So the finest timeline. So what does this? This is just
So this is another
Commemorate.
insert. This is another insert where they document memories throughout players' careers
Got
and
it.
things like that. Like again, just a collectible card, not worth a ton of money or anything like that. It's still technically like a base card, but it's like a base insert. But there would be like a one-on-one version of that as well.
all right for our community. You can have this and a piece of gum.
There you
Actually,
go,
the
all
gum
together.
the gum costs $1. The cards
gum
are
comes
free.
separate.
All right, Chris Bryant and Jackson Joby. All right, so
No autos. Oh, we got the one auto.
one auto.
You're still waiting on two autos.
I just got one. I got Leo Jimenez from the Toronto Blue Jays out of 10.
Okay.
So that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So
boom.
there's a
Awesome.
difference. A number
Yeah.
to 10 is going to be worth more than that same player number to 75 or 100.
There we go.
Congrats.
I wish I would have pulled
So
Cal
say, for
Ripken.
instance, that card sells on eBay. I'm just throwing this out there as a hypothetical. Say that card numbered to 75 sells on eBay for $20. Okay.
Ooh.
That number to 10 is probably 3 times the value. So it sells for like 75. I'm just making that up. But that's how like the value actually now you can associate with the value. When we were kids, we're just ripping the same card. Like you got the idea of ripping the vintage packs. It's all the same card.
All the same card. All right, here we go. Now. Do we have anybody thinking good things in the chat there, Zach? Anybody hoping that we hit?
No one's hoping that we
We
hit
should
anything.
just pull like the one-on-one like Paul Skeens.
I know.
out right
Oh
now.
my
Let's do
goodness.
it.
That's what I'm waiting for.
All
There's
right,
an
so
orange.
all right, Ben Rice, nope. Corbin Carroll, nope. Luis Robert, nope.
Nick Kurtz.
Nick-
Nick Kurtz is actually probably the biggest chase in this right now outside of Skeens.
So, but that's the base card for Nick, right? It's the base.
It's actually like a refractor with all those like the checkerboard. It's rare. So that's probably I'm just guessing probably like a $50 or $60.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
Ooh.
Okay. Wyatt Langford. All right, now we got Colt Keith, 110 out of 150.
Yep.
Okay. Dylan Crew, creator.
Another insert.
Insert Willie Adames, Gleyber Torres. Zach, how'd you do on your side?
That's what the pack I just got. The Jimenez. I've been getting. We got some really cool. I got James Wood, Jacob Wilson. I'm just having fun over here. This is a great time.
It is
Once
fun.
the show's over, guys, if anybody's watching, you could literally jump onto our eBay live stream. They're live. They're live until I would say 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Goodness
So
gracious.
we're live all the time. So
That's-
we've got studios in Vegas and here in Baltimore. Our guys here in Baltimore run the day shift and Vegas runs the night shift. So we're live all the time. So
Insane.
eBay live, TikTok, we're live literally every day.
Oh,
All right,
that's
got
incredible.
Mauricio.
Okay, Ronnie Mauricio.
I was big on him. I think he
Yeah.
tore his ACL
Mhm. He
Oh.
was-
like multiple times. He's a big
Ronnie.
power hitter, just hasn't put it together yet.
Well, we'll maybe think we'll hold on to it for hope. Hope. All right, so insert of the
Yeah,
refractor.
yeah. Okay, gold Acuna.
what's a
That's
gold-
pretty nice.
What's a gold card mean?
So that's numbered to 50, I believe. No, 25.
25.
25.
Woo.
And
Okay.
that as an Ohtani is probably like $1,000 card, maybe more. So those are big time.
So this could be worth something at some point.
100%. Definitely.
All right.
Keeper.
All
Definitely
right. Keeper. And then Kevin Alcantara. How about you?
Got a cool gunner. It's not anything, but I just like gunner. Finest Timeline's got an Ichiro Suzuki.
Okay.
It's a
That's
fun
the
one.
same as the Cal with the historic stuff.
All right. Like that. Actually, I got. Oh no, it's the same gunner one. I was like, I just got another gunner. No, it's the same one.
All right.
On your final pack.
We call this last pack mojo.
Last pack
mojo here.
All right, Zach.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm behind. I have 2 packs left. We got off. Second to last pack mojo for me.
Okay. Well, let's see. Strider, no. Angel Martinez, Royce Lewis, Bobby Witt Jr., cool card, but not
Another
there.
Kurtz.
Another Kurtz, but a different version.
Yeah, so they might call it like a variation. It might be the same number on the back, but they call it a variation.
PCA out of 200.
PCA stuff is going through the roof right now.
Okay.
Very
Put
good.
PCA over there. And then Kumar Rocker,
Ooh, throwback.
a Mike Trout, and a Garrett Crochet to knock out mine. So there's some to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Zach,
Yeah.
your last hope.
Here we go. I'm gonna get my got last pack. Let's see what we got. Strider, Martinez, Royce Lewis. Ooh, here we go. Ooh, Tom Glavine autograph. Yeah.
What we got on that one?
I'm not sure. It doesn't say it's it doesn't say it's out of anything. Just a Tom Glavine. Interesting. Is that common where it's not numbered, but it's still?
Yeah, they'll have like base autographs they're called, but still probably like $100 card.
Woo. There we go. Hey, Connor Norby.
You are getting the former Orioles.
I know. I'm literally getting just a former Oriole gang over here.
left and right, man. Left and right. Well,
So when everybody rips these packs, they always say like, "Hey, how do I take care of this stuff?" And that's when Rico actually messaged me and said, "Hey, how do I? Do I put these in?
Yeah.
In a case? What do I do?" And at the store, we actually sell like sleeves and top loaders and things like that. So all the different supplies, boxes. It's still like an old school hobby shop.
Mhm.
We do fun things like these breaks, but people still need the supplies to take care of their cards. So there's companies like Ultra Pro, Columbia Hobby. They all make products where you can keep everything nice and protected. And then there's things like, PSA is the company that grades the cards. That's when you send it out to them and they encapsulate them to protect them and put a grade on it. So,
well, damn.
yeah.
How about that? The more that we know.
I just like. I
And then
love
tomorrow,
the way
I brought these. I was hoping we could rip them, but Top said, no, don't. You got to wait till tomorrow. To celebrate opening day, the Celebration Series 1 product comes out tomorrow. So we'll have these in our store. I think we've got like 60 boxes. So these, I want to say these retail for about $55, but the new 2026 Celebration product for opening day. So,
Well, we're hoping for some magic there, but this is right down here in Fells Point. You're right there. It's available. You can walk right in.
we're open 11 to 7 every day. Our guys, like I said, are in there breaking, doing exactly what we just did for customers online. But you can come in and you bring your cards. We buy, sell, trade. You can actually grade your cards with us too. So if you bring the cards in, we're an authorized PSA dealer. So if you hit you hit an Acuna to 50 and you say, hey, you know what? I want to get that graded. You would give it to us. We'd evaluate it, let you know if we think it would grade a 10. We're never 100% on, but we can at least
Give you an
advise
idea.
the right way. If it gets a PSA 10, typically adds 3 times the value. So, it's a $50 card turns into a $150 card. So, we're there our goal is to have you come in, learn something, have some fun, have a place to bring the kids, because it's not always about ripping the high-end boxes. We also donate cards to kids when they come in. We've had athletes like Ogden and Dempsey come in for our grand opening. Some of the guys, Rico Garcia came in, like I said. It's just a fun atmosphere. Topps has events with us all the time too, where we come in and have a bunch of giveaways for kids. So it's just a fun place to go. But in this world right now, there's so much craziness going on. It's a nice break from reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. And I'll tell you, I was sweating. a little bit, but that was cool. I appreciate all of that here.
I had a
Mark.
blast.
This
was so much.
And that's the big thing. As long as you guys had fun, that's what it's about.
I was gonna say this was so much fun.
Well, in ways that you've told us too moving forward, there's so many different activities that we can have. I can give you more heads up. And when we have future guests on, maybe we can line up some of their top years or cards, and they can tell us a story or two about those guys. This is a blast. I think my top card is either Pete Crow Armstrong PCA. That's of 200, but I'm assuming it's got to be this Ronald Acuna Jr. 25.
I think so. That's pretty good. That and the Kurtz cards. You'd be surprised with how the Nick Kurtz market is going nuts right now too.
Well, and we're going to find a way for all of you out there to actually get a hold of these specific cards and give them back to you. If you really want the Cal card, I don't know where it went. Have at it.
If you really want the gum.
Yeah, if you
that's really what everybody wants.
Want this gum, where this is
Gum from 1984 featured on the Ryan
I wouldn't
Ripken show.
smell it either.
Yeah,
we don't know what. After 40 years, I don't know what could happen.
Yeah, what? So, I guess we'll find out here one way or another.
Find out if we're here tomorrow.
Find out if we are actually you won't, because we'll be off tomorrow because opening day. We'll be back on Friday with a couple guests coming your way.
If you don't hear from us, we ate the gum.
Yeah,
simple as that.
God. I saw someone say punishment should be to eat the gum.
Yeah.
Well, that we might be in a lawsuit. We might be going to jail. One or the other. But hey, Mark, I appreciate you. Where can people find you on Paradise Card Breaks?
Instagram is big for us. So Paradise Card Breaks on Instagram. And then any of our jump on eBay Live. Like I said, Fanatics, TikTok, Loop. Whatnot. We're on all those platforms as Paradise Card Breaks. Just download the app. And then if you're here in Baltimore, swing by the Baltimore shop. I know there's some Vegas people watching too, so pop in the Vegas shop as well.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Well, Mark, we appreciate you. And for all of you out there, that's a wrap. But stay tuned because we have some other content coming your way that you'll find out soon enough. But Zach, any final words for the people?
Yeah, go rip some cards. This was a ton of fun.
And go O's.
Go O's. Opening day. When we see you next, well, one team's going to be undefeated in Baltimore. Is it going to be Minnesota or will it be the Baltimore Orioles? Zach Hewitt. Do. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy opening day. Baseball's back. And join us again on Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook.